Hey guys, it's Nicole, and today I'm going to be talking about variables and introducing it to you with a very real world example of light mode and dark mode. Let's get started. I think it's important for me to first explain what are variables. Basically, it's pieces of information that you've defined. And for the purpose of this video, I'm talking about light mode and dark mode. For this video, I'm going to be talking about color variables specifically. For example, a variable can be a background color, which I've defined, which is white, or a button fill color, which can be blue. And I'm going to be talking about this concept of tokenization. You know how in light mode, you're not just defining the background color of white and black for dark mode, you're defining a lot of things at the same time. You're defining the text color in the light mode, the background color in the light mode, the button fill color in the light mode, and maybe even the button text color in the light mode, and maybe even different accent colors as well. The concept of grouping all of this information together is called tokenization. Let me give an example here. As you can see, this set of information or this token is going to be the light mode. And I've done something similar for dark mode, but as you can see, the colors are a bit different. This is basically what tokenization means, and each of these modes are called tokens. So how do you implement this in Figma? First, make sure that you haven't selected any frame in Figma so that you see this panel over here. And here you can see local variables. Click on Open Variables. I've already defined some variables here just so you can see what it looks like, but I'm going to delete it and do it from scratch so that you can see how it's done. Delete, 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 delete. This is how it looks like when you haven't defined any variables. Click Create Variable. As I previously mentioned, there are many different kinds of variables that you can create in Figma, but we're going to focus on just the color variable for this case. Here, I want to define, for example, the background color. Over here, I can give it a name, so I'm going to call it light or light mode. Next, I'm going to create another color variable called text, and I'm going to make it black for the light mode. Once again, I'm going to create another color variable, and I'm going to call it button fill. And I'm going to give it a blue color. And finally, I'm going to create another color variable and call it button text, and I'm going to leave it as white. So in order to create another mode, I can click here, and in this mode, I'm going to call it dark. And instead of the background being white, I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to change the information just as I want. And I am basically done defining all my variables as well as the different modes. And if you see here, it's called collection 1. I can actually give it another name so that it's a bit more useful. For example, light, and for example, mode. Okay. Now that I'm done, I'm going to close this. Now I've created an example screen over here, very simple mobile screen. I've created two really simple frames over here. I've called this light and I've called this dark. In this light mode, I've added some elements on the screen. I've added a header, like a placeholder square, some text, some extra description text, and a button. These elements already have their own color, but they're not connected to any variables yet. So the first thing I'll have to do is over here in the fill, I'm going to have to select which variable color it is. Here it's going to be text. And when it becomes something like this, you know that it's connected. You can always disconnect and detach the variable if you want to. I'm going to do the same for this description text over here. And for the button, I'm going to do the same for the individual colors. Button fill and button text. And don't forget the background color as well. I'm going to define it as background. Now that that's done, I'm sure you're wondering, how can I implement the same into the dark mode as well? First, you're going to have to copy over the same screen elements to the dark frame, and I'm going to make sure that the background is implemented as well. And as you can see, once I've implemented the background, it's going to take on the default mode, which is the light. Now that I'm done with the light mode, there's another really important step, which is done here. Selecting on the light frame, I'm going to click on this button here, which is called Change Variable Mode. When I click on it, I can see the drop down of the mode, and I'm going to select light. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how can I implement the same thing but on the dark frame? First things first, I'm going to copy over the element, and I'm going to make sure that I've defined the background here as well. And I know what you're thinking, it's now looking the exact same as the light mode. But don't worry, this is where the magic happens. Here, I'm going to click on layout as well, and then I'm going to click on dark. And just like that, all the variables have now changed to the dark mode instead of light mode. And there you have it. This is just a little tip. As you can see here, there's actually an option for auto. And just like that, you now can easily toggle between light mode and dark mode without having to individually change the variables. That's all for this quick video on how to use variables for light mode and dark mode. Do comment down below on what else you'd like to see. We're going to be posting a lot more content tips to help you level up as a UI UX designer. Do let us know if there's anything you want to learn from Nomademy. And that's all for this video. See you in the next one. Bye!